Hello, everyone. So I take the time to actually give you a little bit more on like July 4th and all that. So at least my opinions of it. Independence Day for me, well, for all intents and purposes, I do believe in freedom, but however, this is a problem in that we're also destroying freedom. How do you say? Well, the Vatican and all these other entities that, as an organization, just doesn't really sit well with everyone else. Just to, like, okay, a religion is oppressive, or it's the utmost incredible thing, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. In a way, it sort of repulses and gets rid of free will to really think about emotion versus logic. It's always been like emotions versus logic when it comes to humanity, but I still think that there is some points that can redeem that. In that there is a sense of balance between the two in some general sense. But more and more, I'm seeing logic to be the overbearing part of things, because the more people want to do something like this, of the general sense that, hey, you're going a little too far, and they're not acting on emotion to try to just, you know, keep with the morals. I'm kind of going a little bit nuts, just trying to keep things uh, set as is. I mean, hey, yeah, I'm doing a personal update, so what? But this is going to be a little bit longer personal update, because some things do happen over the course of a week or so for me. Because, you know, city living versus country living, there's always going to be something different. Recently, I quit one of my jobs, and I'm moving on to a different one, so there's that one. And I think I'll probably fare better if and when I do move on. So there's a possibility of that. But I still think that there is one thing that I'm having trouble with the most, and that's trying to find a balance between, you know, just being a hybrid and being human, you know. I mean, sure, I've had some runs with old acquaintance of mine, and I don't know. I mean, as far as that person goes, sure, I may not mention them, but they happened, and I kind of got myself into things. I just started saying things that I always wanted to, you know. Got me back into the whole sense of video making. Even long before I started with some of my, I guess you could say, hooded shadow figure videos, whatever, that are long deleted, but, you know. Excuse me. In a way, it's just, it's not just coincidence that you have somebody come along and just push you to where you need to be. But for me, I mean, I'm not a teacher. Yeah, I keep stating it no matter what. I mean, he's a teacher, but there's also Michael Grube, or some other guys from light worker teams and engineering groups, energy, ah, energy engineers that are doing what they think there's other thing is right. So you have all these different factions that are trying to do good, but they don't exactly know how to do it. Which is funny, really, because I mean I'm not bothered with that anymore. Because well, I wouldn't say I revoked the Warriors Code, or Warriors Creed and such, which pretty much goes like, I think it's like along the lines of, I will uphold my fighting spirit, which is basically what I've gone off of. I will fight for those who are weaker than me, uphold those who will not be named, and blah blah blah. It goes down the line that way. But in a way, it's, when it comes down to the archangels and stuff like that, that creed changes almost immediately. They start saying like, okay, I will always uphold the weak, no matter how much strife I go through, and I will suffer for them, or rather than them suffering for me. So it's basically just even more selfless than what you would as a warrior in the higher realms. So for me, being a warrior, still having to live by that sort of creed and then revoking it and then getting back to it, or revoking it, getting back to it, I'm just going by cycle, really. I don't really get into being a warrior unless I know I'm going to be doing some good or otherwise causing some havoc. But the thing is, recently what I've been doing with the whole the infinite thing, and just it's fine. Just, I mean, I haven't really gotten around to thinking about how to do with it, but there is something else beyond that that's relatively boring, but I call the core, which is like the core, the center of the multiverse, or center of a multiverse. So that's something I'll probably be talking about in one of my other videos later on, if I do get the chance. So it's going to be interesting to see what that turns out to be for me, even though I have some mixed emotions, like, okay, secrets of the universe, okay, why are they so boring? You never know. It's like when you think, okay, the infinite created these this and this types of energy, and that you have something else that might actually affect the infinite itself. Well, what's after that? Then it's like, is there something even more boring that I'm not looking at? But hey, I'm studying. I'm doing what I can. Just, jeez. I mean, it's just part of a life that you never really knew, but it's also part of an existence that could very well be part of a human soul. Just trying to find out what's part of the, excuse me, part of the multiverse. So, or a multiverse in general. I've been doing ranch work to try to compensate for the lack of income I've been doing, and just sit around doing whatever I can out here. Got this trailer we find for a long time, even after I've kind of lost any kind of chance to barter for food or anything like that out here. So it's not bad, barter for electricity every so often. They are skimpy about it, obviously. So I'm not too indifferent about these people. They're cool. I mean, all let me stay in their land. They're just overall nice people to be around. To mention some of their kids, I'm kind of starting to take a little bit of interest in like some like personal sense of friendships and stuff like that. So I'm kind of thinking about getting into like doing some brewery work or something like that. Sure, I drink, but I'm not too uppity on the point that one of my acquaintances brought up, like, I mean, yeah, brown aura, that sort of thing. I mean, tainted auras. People that are controlled, well, there's a difference between tainted aura, stressed aura, and just overall black aura, which for me, I've kind of been in the slumps and having total black aura, and having to deal with chaos energy and stuff like that is just yuck. I can deal with chaos energy, but if you don't, well, if you like, I don't like dealing with chaos energy too much. So that's the obvious thing about what I'm doing with my time is just when I'm off, trying to find like the secrets of the universe and have my own definition of them and such, like Plato or something like that. But if you're trying to be a philosopher, you gotta put yourself into it. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna be a spiritualist. Well, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a spiritualist to some extent, but I still meditate and pretty much have some sort of religious practice, as hypocritical as it sounds. But in a way, I guess you could say, like, if you don't have some sort of, like, way of thinking through things and keeping at it, you're not really going to get anywhere now, are you? Excuse me, I have a little bit of a frog in my throat today. Um, as far as me and Aita, or she's more or less kind of the opinion, like, I'm becoming kind of like mentally inefficient to the point where I'm not able to protect the family as much, so she's kind of taking up that role to, like, give me a break. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to protect the family as much as I can, but I can't really do too much anymore as far as that goes. She's getting to be fairly effective at it too, which I guess you could say when it comes to my friend Arcom and I guess her soulmate, you could say, Monea, I think she pronounces it. They pretty much alternate like we're doing, trying to keep ourselves as sane as possible. So, yeah, there's that. I mean, Monea, she's a little bit feisty if you insult her, though. If that's their culture, though. It's definitely not me and Aita's culture, so keeping to that. In a way, I'm trying to keep to some of her cultures and trying to get the well, trying to keep to some of Aita's cultures, I guess. and try to recover what she's lost cultural wise. I mean, a few places here and there, there's some ruins. Study them, have a little bit of archaeology, dealt with that. I mean, all there really is just some asteroids and stuff like that. All that's left of her planet. Um, it was left from war. I mean, probably a few settlements here and there, and just pillars or whatever else that some miners probably discovered and stored in artifact cache or something like that, just like for some wanderer or something like that to come and pick up if they're interested in grabbing them. Everything else with the asteroid is completely mined out and just used for whatever they need, like silicon and dioxin or whatever kind of metal they find. uh, the thing is with when it comes to mining, though, I found out that the planet that I've kind of set up shop on is a is a nebula-based planet. It's completely hidden away. It's not set up where anyone can find it. So the thing is, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can use that on nebula and have it mined out a little bit. But there's also some critters that I have to worry about too. So nature preserve on one half end of the nebula while mining goes on the other. So basically, I'm going to have to set up a little bit of an operation in the forest that half of my planet or forest ends of the planet that I'm on, and get that going. So it really comes down to is just giving everyone their space and getting as much material from this as possible, because when it comes to nebula, the gas from nebula can be compacted into like different types of materials that can be used for fuel or whatever else. So the idea behind it is getting the materials without any major cost to the beings that live there. For me, and that's they're kind of using low energy explosives to pack all of it together, and then if there's a major meteor or something like that, they grab that meteor and see what it's composed of, and then if they see it, that it's profitable, they'll go after it. If not, they'll just return it back to the nebula as it was. So I kind of think that they're doing a good job, but Aita was kind of a little bit panicked at first because she didn't understand what was going on. I had to inform her about it, and I didn't tell her about it. So yeah, I'm kind of setting myself a little bit thin between my human form and the astral form or whatever form you want to call it up top. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I say going up top. Well, I say go to the side. Some people say go to the bottom. I say go to the side. Like there's different parallels you can get into. Like you don't need to really go up to go anywhere. As far as fractal space goes, it's infinite. So you got a lot of different things you can go off of, or just like use different types of energy to give yourself a boost. But the main rule is don't cheat and use somebody else's energy to get top side or wherever else you're going, because that's not gonna work. Because either way, for me, I pretty much like zigzagging between parallels. So it's like, okay, I go to one parallel where it's easy to get up top, and then zigzag up to another part where I can see another gate. Blah blah blah. It goes like that. So you can either go in a linear fashion or you can go the way of the universe. So there's easy ways to do it, and then there's the hard way, which is going in a straight line. There's never a way to go in a straight line, to be quite honest. It's like, I mean, some of the scientists have figured that out. I mean, shoot, I figured that out myself. Like, okay, you're gonna be eventually going in a random pattern to get where you need to be. But when scientists say you go on a curve, it's not gonna happen for what you're doing. You're going in a zigzag pattern. You're not going anywhere else but trying to find the gates you need to go through to get up top. For me, I've gotten to the point where I can get up top, collect a little bit of energy, bring it back down, store it, and if I need to, go back up top for more when I'm starting to run low. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, it's a decent concept of, okay, you can get up top or go wherever else you need to and just continue wandering about. For me, the parallel that I live in is just where I want to be. I don't really, it's a branch off of, like, I guess 5-6D or something like that. I don't really want to go anywhere near source or chaos energies. Just stick where on my head out wherever I can to try to stay in you know find a place to sleep or have myself be anchored here for the duration of the time that I'm going to be living. I mean, sure, I'm thinking about even more because I've been going nuts and having some personal issues, that sort of thing, and you know, like my idea of, okay, human life is uh, precious and it's the most rarest thing in the entire multiverse is starting to wear thin. Um, Because, when it comes to doubt and a lot of different types of human emotions, you really start to get into the things that can end up getting you to the point where you want to, go elsewhere. For me, it's no different. I mean, a lot of different beings have really just said, okay, forget it, and they just submit themselves to source or whatever energy is out there to just completely be broken down and return back to their energy form or state, whatever they want. Basically, they're just contributing to a much bigger war that's gone on between balance, chaos, and creation for what seems like over or like what is it, like a million eons or something like that. I don't know, but nonetheless, I mean, when it comes to the infinite, it's like, does the infinite care? Maybe it was bored. It created these types of energies for its own amusement. So, or at least to keep it company, which it doesn't like the fact that, okay, what are you doing? And they start fighting each other and opposing each other, that sort of thing, and it just becomes a complete mess. uh, that's the whole idea is like, okay, yeah, this is a personal update, blah. I get to shed some light on my own personal opinions of it. Instead of just saying, okay, this is information, blah, 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 go down the point. Ramble on as much as I well please. Yeah, kind of getting pretty bad frog in my throat right now. I think I'll cut this off a little bit, but to state one last thing. When it comes to the defining energies of our universe, it's when you start classifying things, it gets complicated, but at the same time, it gets simple. So that's something to think on.